commission.
It's out of commission for right now.
At the moment, yes.
Awesome. Hi, everyone.
Hello, welcome to episode 11. We've made it.
11. Yay.
What's our next goal?
I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I just turned my... Do you want to wait a little bit? Another 30 seconds and we'll just pop in. We're a little bit just late today. Just tried to adjust the camera.
6:05 as usual.
6:05. So how was your day? Was it
Good.
school? Did you finish up all your assignments?
Yes-ish.
Yes. So you have the one that we've been working on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I'm good.
we've been outside today.
Yeah.
The sun came out a little bit, so it's nice, right?
Yeah, it's gonna thunder. It's been thundering.
Really? No, I was inside the office, so I just only got outside today.
Yeah,
Like
when I
after
was playing
4.
basketball, yeah, it was thundering.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. I did like your workout yesterday. Nice lunches, by the way.
Why, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
surprised I didn't compliment that yesterday.
I did on the message, and I said you did a good job.
No, you didn't
Even your
send me
workout.
anything.
It was in the feed if you look.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. Explaining everything. You're becoming a pro. Right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Are we ready? Let's go ahead and start.
No. We have another minute, maybe.
So we're gonna say, so are you excited? We completed 10 episodes. This is we're going double digits finally.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think so far? Do you think we improved? What's your feedback?
Yes.
Do you think it's interesting, topics that we pick up, or they're too?
Mm-hmm.
And Baker's here already. She's like, no, I'm not staying with you. We're going. Let's see what he's doing. Are you staying or going?
Oh.
I guess he's done.
Well, it's 6:05, so let's get straight into the topic.
Let's talk about us a little bit and say, hi everyone, welcome to episode 11 of K&T Talk Series. Yes, we made it to number 11. Woo!
You just changed the tone of your voice completely.
I know, I'm just so excited. Just want to throw some excitement. We're very passionate. K&T Talk Series is Katya, my name, and Tristan, T. This is mom and son. We started this project back in January, yes, 2020. So we talked about it. We always talk about it, making something together because we are both passionate about being active.
Yes
We have
and
an
no.
active lifestyle.
Yes and no.
Yes and no, but we are. Tristan says no, I don't know why, because he's an athlete. So we said, why not? We always have these conversations in the morning, on the weekend when we have our walks or anything that we do, or even we sit by a dinner table, we discuss about different things, health, things that we read, and we share that. And we think it's kind of great to start a conversation with your kids, no matter what age you are, and just go from there. And we decided to do this project because we want to, what is our mission, Tristan, do you know? So our commitment to you is to share
people, share our experiences and give you advice on what you should do, and if we did something wrong, we're going to point you in towards the opposite direction of.
Because we want to commit to share our message with being fit, healthy, and happy. So we want to bring that positive message to you. Because being active, it's not a chore, it's not a punishment, it's not something that needs to be on your to-do list. It should be part of your lifestyle. You should embrace that happily and work towards your health, because we all should invest in our health. Our health is the most important part of our lives. And when we're not healthy, everything else just is a domino effect. So I just want to let you know that that's exactly what's happening and what we're doing. So what are we doing? Today, what is our topic? Self-sabotage. So we decided to, approach a very touchy subject. And it's a simple word, self-sabotage, but it has so many nuances in our lives, as kids, adults. And we'll touch it in the most easy way and the most comprehensive way for Tristan, because he's still a 12-year-old. And, we are touching self-sabotage on the idea of why we sabotage ourselves, how we can overcome it, right? And why it affects our lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, referring to our health, and our exercise routine. So that's what we're trying to focus, right? So I researched a little bit around, what's the do's and the don'ts. So how you create the self-sabotage in your life. When we do not talk about self-sabotage, we're kind of trying to hide behind that curtain. We just find excuses instead of realizing that we actually self-sabotaging. Self-sabotage comes from your ego. Remember, we talked about your ego a couple episodes ago. It was like 2 episodes. Yes, we talked about your ego. Self-sabotage comes from your ego. Ego is the most powerful governor of your life, of your own experience. And why?
Not necessarily.
Yes, ego is connected with the mind, and what it does, it always gives you direction and limits you in what you want to accomplish. So it is connected. There are a lot of psychology behind it, and I'll not go there. That's not my. I'm not an expert on it. I've read a couple things. I just know from my personal experience, and I'll share some personal experiences where I self-sabotage myself, and Tristan will share some of his, and we'll kind of combine how we understand self-sabotage and how I have seen it also from the fitness professional perspective, how my clients are sabotaging themselves, even they have all the tools provided. So it's a lot of, I can also call self-sabotage, for me it's a setback, because it's a self-imposed setback. And we do this because we don't like progression, or we are afraid. So it always goes back to those limitations. Hey, I'm afraid, I want to be in my box. I'm not ready to overcome something, because we like to limit ourselves. We like to be comfortable. So when we hit that discomfort, exactly when we hit that discomfort zone, we just don't know what to do. And what happens is we become scared. All the fears that trickle in, and we're like, okay, I'm out of my comfort zone, what I'm doing, and we always retreat. That's when we're engaging that self-sabotage. That's when the ego says, like, okay, you can't do this, sit here, because this is where it's comfortable for you. So just to kind of give you a nutshell of how I see it, and that's my personal understanding of it, and how I read about it. So about what self-sabotage is. So let's give some examples. And let's give like overall examples, what we found on, surfing on the internet, and we'll give some personal examples. So one is mental barriers. So do you know, like, self-sabotage, what is a mental barrier? Like specifically doing a fitness routine. So you said that I cannot do this exercise.
Alright, so.
Yeah.
Alright. Mental, what was it?
Mental barrier.
I thought it was blockage, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, or blockage. You can say blockage.
It's a blockade, not blockade.
Blockade. You have blockage and blockade.
Blockades.
Okay, I'll go with that. Okay.
So as mental barriers go, you can base it on fitness-wise. You can say something like, "Oh, I can't do this. Oh no, this
And
is
then
gonna
go
time."
specifically. Yeah.
Like in basis, like, oh, like you don't want to put some weight on something, like you don't want to do weighted squats or something, because you've already advanced through that normal version of that, and you just don't want to move up.
Yeah.
You've reached the plateau.
And I hear it as a professional, fitness professional. I hear a lot of clients saying, "I can't do this exercise. I just can't do this exercise." Maybe they're afraid because they never tried, or they tried and had a bad experience. So it's relating to the past experience, and they just don't want to feel that again, because when they are reliving that experience, it brings all those emotions back. So there are a lot of different situations. So I do not like to do an exercise. So you didn't like to do something. Remember when it was a year or two ago that you didn't want to do push-ups? Remember that you just like, that was like for you, I can't do it, I don't want to do it. Remember how we worked slowly for you to get confident to do push-ups? Remember how long it took us? It's a process, patience. So you got frustrated a little bit. Remember, you was like, "No, Mom, I can't do it. I'll do it only this way." Remember, at some point you're very frustrated because you thought that you were not able to do a push-up correctly, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of pushing him because I knew he has the potential, and he needed to work on perfecting his push-ups and how many push-ups he does because of his swimming. We want to make sure that he is improving his chest muscles and his shoulders, so working that push-up was really good for him. Remember? So that was that's the exercise that you really didn't want to do. You're okay with pull-ups, you're okay with everything else, but push-ups is something that you said that I do not like this exercise, I really don't want to do it. And for you, like you kind of started from the nose down and move away from it. Even you still not really love the exercise, but you know you can do it because you work towards it, right? So you overcame whatever self-sabotage of saying do not like that exercise, you did it, right?
And another thing, like let's say you don't like this sport or something,
okay,
in that type of area, but then you start to you try it one time and then you get engaged into it, you're like, oh, I like this. But if you still go with that mentality as before, that you don't like the sport, and you see, and that's, I don't know how to word it.
That's okay, take your time.
I'm trying to word it.
It's okay, sometimes it happens.
So, yes, and you say, and your ego says no because you're used to not liking the sport. That's self-sabotage right there.
Yeah, so that's an example of self-sabotage. So mental barrier, I would say my mental barrier was, for me, mental barrier has always been, for me personally, as what exercise I can do was the bench press. I always was very self-conscious about doing the bench press, especially after I had I undergo double mastectomy for cancer treatment. I got more self-conscious about it, and I always have a fear getting under, sitting on the bench and getting under that barbell and adding weight. Even if I have assistance, it's just, it's something that always tells me, you can't do this, it's dangerous. I always imagine that bar falling off me and doing some kind of type of injury. I have read a lot of blogs about it, so I mentally always prepare for it, and it's something that I've been working on it. So for me, it's a mental barrier. So I know I define what that self-sabotage for me is that specific exercise that it always gives me that, hey, you can't do it. But right now, of practicing and trusting myself more, I overcome that fear. That fear is always there. It's how I control it, how I overcome it by saying, hey, let me just do it. I know fear you hear, but I'm not self-sabotaging myself because I know I can, instead of saying I cannot. So that's how I approach it always, and say what will happen if I really can do it, instead of just being in that comfort zone saying no, I can't do it, so I'll never progress, I'll never try to move and perform that exercise. So that's for myself. Okay, so then we have another one, another example of self-sabotage. You cheat yourself, not treat yourself. So you remember when we have those, we work out a lot. Let's say we do a morning session or evening session, and you go home and you're like, I just burned about 500 calories in that class, or maybe, or whatever that is, and I'm like, oh, I deserve to have a cookie, or I deserve to have whatever you wanted.
A cookie, just one cookie, that's like that's like about 100 to 200 calories. It's not.
I know, but this that's only, hey, I will just want to get one cookie or get whatever that is. Then you get to eat 3, 4, or 5 because I'm like, one is nothing. It's only 100 calories. Let me add a couple more anyway. I burn 500. So this is where our brain clicks in. That's that self-sabotage. Hey, I did it, but let me treat myself. And I'm actually not treating myself. I'm cheating myself. But treating myself in one way because I'm not moderating. I'm pushing myself like, hey, I can do more. Like, I can eat more. And this is just an example. Or I have clients that will go home and they're like, hey, I can eat a shake, like let me drink a shake after workout, but they don't realize that shake may have 300, 400 calories. Then they also decide to eat a huge meal afterwards, which that completely trumps everything what they did in that workout. Even if they burn that 500 calories, they actually consume double that amount. So everything what they work towards is just completely nullified. So remember, that's another thing that we do, and those cheat days, sometimes people on the weekend, have a cheat day, so they'll go all day and binge on something. And remember, maybe once in a while is good. It's not really good for your body. Your body cannot take so much food intake or all that junk food. At some point, you get sluggish, you get tired, you can get constipated. It creates all this biological, chemical effects in your body because you just completely went off the rails. So again, it's that balance that you want to create.
Yes.
So that's my example.
And there's one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to follow any diet plan. You just need to do moderation.
Yeah. So that's the counteract what we can do for that.
Moderation is key to a proper
And
diet.
and for adults, we like to, hey, I'm going for a run, I work out, I get home, I want to have a glass of wine, and when we just talk, just cook or do whatever we want to do, and at the end of the night, right before sleep, we realize we actually drink about 4 glasses of wine instead of 1. So we just completely added double the sugar in that evening time, and we sabotage everything where we were that day. And not only that day, also possibly days before, because maybe we are not hydrated that day, maybe we ate very lightly that day, and we just came home and hey, I did all this work, I did this exercise routine, why not 1 glass? And we start with 1 glass and we get in that pattern. So just be mindful, stop yourself when you get, because you do that, that's your mechanism of putting you in that box, in that limiting box. And of course, there are a lot of psychological, behind subconscious explanation of why. Sometimes it's an emotional effect, something that we struggle internally, that we're trying to clear or overcome as balancing, something that we deal emotionally with, some stress, some conflicts, some inner conflicts that creates that self-sabotage. So that self-sabotage that we actually do not see it, we think that it's not there because we do not name it. We refuse to name it. For us, we try to think that it's invisible and it's not our responsibility because we don't want to be accountable for it. So that's kind of the issue. When you check yourself, when you just be mindful, when you realize that you are self-sabotaging yourself, you can stop it in that second and say, no, you're not in control of me. I can do this because I know what I want to do. I want to be more healthier. I want to be a better person. I want to enjoy my family. I don't want to deal with those side effects. So there's just a lot of things that you can work with. Yeah.
Well, you're saying, I don't want to deal with it, but that is you.
It is you. So you are you have a self conversation. That is correct. It is you. It's only you. It's nobody else. You're trying to blame all these external factors, but in the real truth, to be real with yourself, it's all in you. It's you against you. So this is what I always say to all of my clients. This is how I see every time I get into that pattern. The way I stop myself, I say, hey, this is me. I am dealing with myself, with my own issues, with my own barriers that I'm trying to overcome. And having that candid conversation with myself, I accept what I'm doing, but I'm realizing that's when you can stop the pattern. So moving into the next one, you give up way too much easier. So people
way
having
too much easier.
Yeah, way too easier. So let's say you're working out, you got in this nice routine. Hey, I'm doing this workout for 30 days, and you're starting the first week on force. I'm going in. I want to lose this weight. I want to do this, and you're on this motivation, inspiration. You're going in. You're knocking down for 1 week, and the second week you're I don't know. I'm giving up. So it's not that commitment, that accountability. It goes back to the same thing because you're giving up too easy because you think you want a quick fix, and it's like a self-sabotage. I committed for 30 days, but I really don't want to because you're just giving up too easily. So you give up in a halfway through it. So that's another way how you stay consistent, disciplined, and all those things. That's another form of self-sabotage. Or having, hey, it's bad weather outside, it's raining. I don't want to run today or walk this evening because it's raining. That is giving up too easily because you're, again, looking for those external factors, right? Yeah. It's raining outside,
but then
it's windy, and I'm not going for a walk, or I'm not driving to do a workout because the weather is bad. So that's something that we, again, using to self-sabotage our
Another thing.
healthy lifestyle and exercise routine.
And then
Yeah.
the other days, I say, oh, but then you're gonna say you're gonna do the next day, but you don't. That's
Yeah.
another thing.
So then is the next one, how you put it off. So when you're like, okay, I'm starting this workout schedule or this custom workout that I found it online, or I have my trainer give me one, or I'm joining this class and on Monday I'll go ahead and start. And as soon as Monday comes around, I'm like, no, I don't feel like, I ate too much during the weekend, I'm too exhausted, I'm stressed out with work, I have too much work, and I decide not to do it. So I am like procrastinating, so moving that date. I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'll skip it on Monday, I'll do it on Tuesday. Then when Tuesday comes around, we do the same thing. And a lot of people, sometimes it's the fears to start something. It's very difficult. It's very emotionally challenging, and not only emotionally, mentally challenging for a lot of people to start something because they know they need to commit to something that they're not comfortable with. So again, we're going to that comfort area, going from comfortable to uncomfortable. And this is that thin line that we want to cross from comfortable to uncomfortable. Exercising, being active, it means that you need to become uncomfortable. Yes, it is. That's the real truth. You need to become uncomfortable because that's the only way you'll challenge your body. You'll get that mental clarity. You'll become that emotional stable because you're getting out of your comfort zone, which you got used to, right?
Who would want to be uncomfortable? Comfy is nice.
I know. That's the tricky part. So that's what self-sabotage is. It keeps us in that comfort zone. Uncomfortable doesn't mean that you need to be super exhausted, super sweaty, super sore. That's not what uncomfortable is. Uncomfortable, you can see it from the very simple way of seeing it is, hey, I have never done this workout at 9 o'clock. Now I'm doing it. You're stepping away from your comfort zone because you just never did that. You're doing it. That's exactly what it is. Don't see uncomfortable just something related to, oh my God, I need to do this. Oh my God, I'm sweating so much. I'm making this time. My body's sore. I need to use weights. It's always like, again, it's that mental self-sabotage. So you're just self-inflicting that sabotage by creating that mental barrier. Okay, things that you can do to overcome self-sabotage, right? Yeah. Make yourself accountable. Again, we talked about this, right? Making yourself accountable. Be real. When you realize, when you catch yourself that you are about to self-sabotage yourself, then you can stop it by saying, no, I'm accountable. That's what I want to do because I want to be healthier. It's everything comes from the inside. You want to be healthier. Nobody forces you to be healthier. You don't need to do it because your girlfriend is doing, your boyfriend is doing, or your partner is doing, and you just want to do it because somebody else is doing. You want to do it for yourself because it is your health at stake. You want to be more active. You want to move your joints. You want to join a group. You want to exercise because what exercise does to you. And it gives you great benefits, and we talked about brain benefits last week, what it does to that. It gives you emotional balance, it gives you mental clarity, so you can, what do? You can overcome stress, so deal with stress better, deal with anxiety and all of those things.
Stress can do, like negative stress.
Yes.
We have explained what that can do, and it's not.
Then you need to set, so what happens is how a lot of people are self-sabotaging themselves when they start exercise routine. They create themselves very unrealistic goals. So they're not real with themselves. So they think that they can lose 30 pounds or they want to do a workout routine 4 times a week. So something that they are not confident that is attainable. So when you start from the beginning thinking that when you never did it or you never have been in that routine and you want to just double up and go all hardcore, that's the worst way of starting something out because you want to ease into it. That's when we create automatic self-sabotage to ourselves because we set unrealistic goals. So what means realistic goals? Hey, let me start with once a week. Hey, let me start with twice a week. An exercise routine. Hey, let me walk at least twice a week. And let me walk those twice a week. You want to have something that is attainable, that it's easy for you to transition and add that habit, that new habit that you're about to create. Remember, new habit, 21 days, about to create, right? You transition slowly and confidently. You don't want to have, we all are adults, we have jobs, and sometimes if our manager, supervisor, not son, so he'll say his perspective. When our manager is setting our performance goals way off the chart, something that we know we'll never attain, we get depressed, and we know from the beginning that person is setting us for failure. And I'm pretty sure you all had those experiences in the work field. So kind of relate to the same thing. That's what we do to ourselves without realizing that we are setting this unrealistic goals and say, hey, I can do this, I can lose 20 pounds by Easter, I can do this.
But by what time should
Can
you
you?
start at?
Have you ever had the experience? So be real with yourself, because if you are real with yourself, you're not dealing with that self-sabotage. You start being slowly and transition into it, right?
Yes, like resolution is, they do what they do for about a week and then they stop.
Or a month and a half. Then you have how you can build that by planning and preparing. So again, setting those realistic goals, you can plan and prepare. And doesn't mean you need to be a control freak and just try and say, okay, I'm doing 5 in the morning, every morning do this. You accommodate that healthy lifestyle, that exercise routine to your daily routine.
Yeah, you are kind of a control freak.
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm not anymore, because I don't work out like I used to.
You wrote a whole essay on this one episode.
No, I'm very passionate about this, because I have seen a lot of people go in that mode of self-sabotaging, and they're always looking for external factors of why they're self-sabotaging. It's very difficult for me as a professional to let them know it is kind of their fault, their own worst enemy. That's exactly what it is, and it's so sad sometimes to see people that they reach those goals, then they completely just go off the rails and just stop doing an exercise routine because they just think that it's all good and easy. And again, they just step from the comfort zone and they're moving themselves back to the comfort zone. That's where the setback comes in. Self-sabotage creates that setback. And it's another thing when you have an injury. If you have an injury, you have a surgery, you are sick. That's a different situation. And when I'm not talking about those.
But if you're in a normal situation,
yeah.
If you have your own workout routine, like it's all good, you're good to go there, and you just stop it because you reach your goal. No, you should keep on doing that routine. And if you just want, and if you're not striving for improvement, just keep that, so you'll just keep your level of muscle and whatever.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Then. One way to overcome self-sabotage is make choices and not create rules. So what happens for a lot of people, like I said, they go completely hardcore. So they say no to everything. Like, I'm not eating this, I'm not eating after 6, I'm removing all the sugar, I'm doing this. They're setting themselves all these rules because they want to punish themselves. So again, they start from that negative path of transformation, of creating that healthy lifestyle, of creating an exercise routine by creating these rules that are very rigid, and which, every time we're human beings, how we react to rules. As kids, we don't like rules. If you tell a kid this is the rules and this is what you want them to do.
Control freak stereotype?
Yes and no. Yeah, possibly. When there are a lot of rules, so a lot of people believe by all those set rules. No, we have choices and rules. We have choices and rules. Schedules are different from rules.
Yeah, no.
Schedules are different from rules, so we're talking about different things. So then, how we can overcome that? By creating the choice. So see, rule, choice. You have a choice to choose this instead of you have this rule that you impose yourself that you gotta do it in a specific time. This is how it needs to happen. So again, you come from that positive attitude of I'm choosing this because I'm willingly doing this for myself. So you're completely ignoring that ego and releasing that self-sabotage. It's not there anymore because you're confident of making that choice instead of you setting yourself rule. I need to do this. This is my way. I must do it. So again, it puts you in that rule situation, which is not connecting with you emotionally, because what we don't like rules. We always have this rejection effect over it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, one kind of rules.
Alright, I just want to
Yeah, go ahead.
start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So, as in conclusion, after talking about all of this,
I have one more.
self-sabotage.
It's believing in yourself. That's another one that
Okay, that's
overcomes.
the most basic thing. We
Okay.
don't need context for that.
Okay.
So, in conclusion, after hearing all the said dialogue, you really start to realize that in the past you've obviously done this and you didn't even notice.
Yes, that's
That's,
the second one.
and you know, that's may or may not be a good thing and it may be a good thing because you know that you won't do that anymore, or maybe a bad thing because it may have severely affected you. So, yeah. But this said dialogue that we went through it teaches people that there is ways to overcome setbacks and
Self-sabotage.
yeah,
And
and
imposed
how to
behavior.
avoid all of that,
Yeah.
all that. Can I say this? Catastrophe of problems that you will start to face as soon as you start into your first as soon as you do self-sabotage, the results come quickly. It's not just like, oh, it feels
So you mean the consequences?
Yes,
If
the
the results is
consequence.
possible, the consequences is
yes.
negative. Okay. So the consequences are coming, and are not only coming in your healthy lifestyle, in your exercise routine, they trickle down in your entire life. You know, your personal life, your workspace, your relationship with your family, with your kids, with your friends. It always does it, because if we keep developing and enriching and growing the self-sabotage behavior, it completely whips out in our entire life. And we become depressed and we're exhausted, we don't sleep over because we just have so many worries, so much stress, so much anxiety that we create in our minds, because that is the perception we have about our life. That our life is complicated, that we don't have time for anything, that we're too exhausted, that maybe we have health issues and we're not sure we want to start something, or maybe we just are afraid. So the fear is the other factor that feeds off self-sabotage.
Yes.
Is the fear. And a lot of fear, not liking the change, and moving out of the comfort zone, right?
So after hearing all of this, you start to realize that, you know, you could be doing this right now and you haven't even noticed.
So you never thought about it, just
Yes.
take a second and realize,
Yeah,
okay, what I'm doing to myself.
Yeah.
Do I really need to have that extra cookie? Do I need to have that extra glass of wine? Do I need to say no for tomorrow, or do I need to say no that is a little bit sprinkling outside and just taking that walk? So you have the powers within you to make that decision. Is that crazy? Yeah. And I'm not.
It's hard sometimes.
It is hard, and we're not perfect. We always do. I self-sabotage myself. Sometimes I realize, and I self-sabotage myself completely the opposite, which is more of a toxic. I'm doing, then I realize that my body cannot take it. So I realize that I get to the point and, okay, maybe this is not good, and I'll take a break and rest. But I have moments when it's very cold outside and I really don't want to drive to the gym or go walk. And I know it's a minor sabotage, but I'm doing it. Am I conscious about it? I don't want to repeat that pattern. I want to stop myself. If I do it, I want to do it once a month, or I do it twice a month, but I don't want that to be a consistent behavior. So that's something that I'm very mindful about it for my own health, because at the end of the day, nobody's there for me. Nobody is helping me to do anything. It's within me. Do I want to invest in my health? Do I want to have an exercise routine? How do I want to be happy? So those are the things that I always think about it, and how I stop myself. You know, I like to have cheat days. Everybody has. It's just how you get the moderation. Again, we are all not perfect. We accept, but we still need to accept ourselves instead of feeling guilty. I don't want to feel guilty and ashamed that I had donuts the other day with my coworkers on Friday, because I decided to buy them donuts. and I had a lot of coworkers, and
You
this
got
is why
a half one, so.
my coworkers like, okay, you're a fitness trainer and you're so fit. Oh my God, you're just eating donuts. How dare you? Like, I know you hate sugar. And I just smiled politely and laughed and said, hey, I do like sugar and it's okay for me. I can have a donut. That doesn't matter. I'm not. It's the cheat day or treat day that I accept for myself. I'm not going off the rail. I'm accepting that, and I don't see that as a self-sabotage, but they do. So it's again that perception of, but it's interesting. It's always interesting how you control that.
You know what? That's the self-sabotage.
Yeah,
That is.
yeah, that is self-sabotage. With
Yeah,
one
but
another,
that-
because
what
I
you
do
just
it.
said that was just self-sabotage.
It is. It is.
But you noticed that.
Yeah, because I knowingly did it. I didn't do it unconsciously. I made that decision.
Yeah.
That's why I put rules to it. Kind of said, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, eating half a donut.
Yes.
What are you gonna do
So
with it?
I know, and that's me. I'm not saying there are many out there. Sometimes I will go to sleep late. So sometimes what we do, we know that we need to
Like
rest
what time?
for Monday to go, do our work, start our work routine. So on the weekend, we want to rest, but sometimes we find this cool show, Netflix, Prime, whatever you watch in Hulu. You find this cool show, and it's like, oh, let me binge watch on it. And you binge watch it, and you realize it's already 2 o'clock in the morning. So you have
in the morning.
So you have like barely 5 hours of sleep or 4. Then you need to go to work. Then what do? You self-sabotage yourself because again, you did not mindfully realize that you need to balance that out instead of binging. So you completely
is it a new
unbalanced that scale. What?
Oh wait, is it a new one?
What?
Is it a new series?
Possibly new
If
series.
it's a new series, those things are short, so it's not. It'll be around 12 o'clock.
Oh, like that.
Yes.
So what do you think self-sabotage? What other, like for you as a kid, what self-sabotage? We talked about the other day about self-sabotage for you. What you had, like, example, you had some homework that you needed to redo, some assignments for school. And last week I told him, hey, T, can you do it? Can you do it? He said, Mom, I'll do it next day and next day and next day. And what came around Saturday, right? And last weekend he was in competitions, right? In swimming competitions.
Time for that.
And he thought, hey, I can do it. But what happened on Saturday, when he got on Saturday, he was so exhausted because he had a very serious competition. So he was super exhausted from all that. And he's like, Mom, I can't do it. I'm too exhausted, right? And he didn't do it. So he realized close to Monday that it's been a week, right? And he put it off day by day by day. Then what he did, he crunched himself in this time stress to complete the deadline, right, for the assignment. So you kind of self-sabotage yourself, and you recognize that at the end of the weekend that you did it, right? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how that it felt? At least did you realize your behavior? Do you think you'll change that, or you'll adjust that in the future, not to create that situation for yourself? Is it comfortable when you realize that you're a deadline, you need to do all this? Do you feel mad about yourself? Like how did you feel? I'm curious. How did it make you feel?
Well, like doing all that work.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
You like that? So you like to do crash that, but it still wasn't comfortable because you knew you could do it the days before, like the whole week.
No, I would have. That sometimes you want to be out of your comfort zone, and sometimes you just don't.
Sometimes not, but still, you put it off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I felt like doing it then.
Right.
Because sometimes you want to get in the zone and then you just don't stop and you feel good about it.
Okay.
In the end.
So those are the small things that we talked about, why we're self-sabotaging ourselves and what to identify what a self-sabotage behavior is. We also offer you how we self-sabotage ourselves. So we talked about different situations, mine and Tristan. Now we also share with you how you can overcome the self-sabotage behavior because it's part of our lives. We're not perfect. We're not good, we're not bad. We are complex human beings. We have everything within us. It's how we balance this, how we create that.
Well,
right?
I'm wrapping this up.
Yeah.
As Mom just concluded the whole thing, the whole shebang. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode 11 of the K&T Talk Series show, whatever you want to call it, I don't really know.
Yes, this is how we call it for right now. K&T Talk Series.
I don't know why I was in talk show, but don't
It's
ask
Talk
me.
Series. It's Talk Series.
Nobody
It's
has-
short.
It's not gonna be short, but okay.
It is.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's
A very uncomfortable topic
video.
about self-sabotage. Yeah.
Yes. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to Be Fit and Healthy by Katya with BFH at the end. My mom should change it in the future.
We're working on it because
You're
we're coming
working.
up with some things in April, so we're working on it. After
Yeah,
the
well,
spring
as-
break and Easter, we'll add some more things. Also join our group, Facebook group at K&T Talk Series. Join there. Like I said, we'll try to do a better job in April. We having a spring break next week, and we'll organize our ideas and be more consistent in sharing a lot of resources with you out there. Also, if you send us questions, we'll be more than happy to answer and give you practical tips. We do have a lot of practical tips, what works for us. We do possibly, we'll start sharing what we eat, how we fitness in our lives, how we staying active. And it's, by just small, practical adjustments.
Okay,
Yeah?
so
to our behavior.
Yep, as I just wrapped it up there. So hope you all enjoyed. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for episode 11 of K&T Talk Series. Otherwise, you all have a good evening, and please share our thoughts about self-sabotage and what you think, and maybe be